producer on Never.
I'm Bradley Moore. I'm the editor and co-producer of Never.
Yeah, I'm Zach Booth. I was Denim.
Hi, my name is Thomas, and I was the producer on Don Peyote.
I guess your question was why we made the project. The writer-director, Brett, is not here. He's currently in Israel right now. And, so we'll speak for him. But he basically, he had an experience in Seattle. He made a short film and was at a festival in Seattle, fell in love with the city and fell in love with an idea for a movie about it, and set about writing it, and then convinced all of us to join him there, and we made it. So that's why. I guess we're opening it to questions.
Yeah, let's open up. Questions?
I noticed like 20 people on your crew are Florida State University graduates. Are any of you from Florida State?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we are. Brett, the writer-director, is from Florida State. Most of us met in film school together there. Of course. Awesome. So yeah, we both went to Florida State. Zach did not have the pleasure of going to Florida State University.
Yeah,
so,
no.
So yeah.
That's cool, you guys are here.
I think that if Nikki and Denim had gotten together at the end, that it would have been the wrong way to go. But did you get pressured to go that way? Like to end it with them being a couple?
I don't think we had that note. One note we did get about the ending was some people thought it was way too depressing. In fact, like one of our early screenings, one of the notes afterwards was that for somebody it played like Nikki's not just leaving, she's like she's in a terrible place and like near suicide. Does it play that way? I don't know. I hope not. But we were really scared of that, of like finding the right place where at the end it feels like they both grown a little bit, but there's still it raises the question of how much they can grow, I hope. So yeah.
I mean, I think it is sort of melancholy and sad and a little depressing at the end of the film, and I just think that speaks to like being like 22, you know, and every single event is like the final event, and the stakes in your life are so high and so intense, and things mean so much to you because it's really the first time you're going through all of them. So I don't know, I think that it sort of was that really sad ending, and I think that sort of just speaks to Brett and what he experienced and you know, what he wrote.
Just a comment. I think the fact that there were two other breakups, you know, around the same time, was so wonderful, and made it easier to accept that this was also not going to happen because of where, as you say, they are in their lives. It reminded me actually earlier in the movie. It reminded me of Romeo's infatuation with the first girl before he meets Juliet, Rosalind. Yeah, and you know, and just that age where you are just searching for your life so desperately. It was beautiful.
It's nice that it wasn't just tied up neatly.
It was so refreshing that it wasn't a nice little bow. Life isn't like that.
I would also like to make a comment on that as well. I know it's not a question, but I really think that if you guys were wondering how the ending came off, I thought it was perfect. I really thought it was perfect. I mean, I really thought that it was one of those movies, I've seen a few lately, where, like, you know, it's the realism of how close it is to real life is a very good thing as opposed to a bad thing. And it really, like, resonates with people. I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was incredibly well acted. And also, like, I thought that it made sense because from the beginning of seeing Nikki's character, you know that that's what she would do. She would not, under any circumstances, be like, okay, and now I end up with you because we're all free and we can do this. No, she's going to cut her own path through the world, and like the other guy who's a bit more naive is going to understand that because he loves her so much. So I just think it was a perfect ending.
Just so we got one of the producers here, I was just curious, can you tell us a little bit about what the production
was like. Like how many days you shot? Was it like was it sort of a traditional sort of straight through shoot?
It could have been. So what happened was we went up to Seattle in January and shot for a month. We shot for a month there, and we, figured we could get it all covered. Seattle had like the biggest blizzard they've had in 15 years while we were there, and Seattle doesn't like handle blizzards well, which I didn't expect. And so like that threw us off schedule a little bit. There was a day that we all got up in the morning and climbed down this huge hill to our cars, icy stairs, carrying all of our equipment, and got there, and everyone gets in the cars, and the streets have not been plowed or anything, and we're all trying, and literally no one can get their car to move at all, and we just gave up and went back to the house. So it threw us off a little bit, and we ended up going back that summer, again for I guess 2 or 3 weeks of a shoot.
10 days or something.
Yeah.
It was like 2 weeks.
Yeah, and Seattle is gorgeous in the summer. Definitely
Yeah,
go there in the summer, guys. But yeah, it was an incredibly small crew, and it was a tough movie for us because not only was it most of our first feature, but very few of us had actually been to Seattle. So it was landing, and you hit the ground running, just trying to a big part of pre-pro for us was just meet people in the city and befriend people enough that they'll let us shoot in their house or drive us to set, or this movie is made, every indie film was made off of favors, and we couldn't have made this movie without how supportive Seattle was. Even their film community there was incredible. So yeah, production was incredibly intense.
The one odd thing that they did that they may not want to talk about, but we all lived together in this house. So whether that was a good decision or not, I don't know. But I mean, it felt like college. It felt like a bunch of kids that all knew each other, and then a few random weirdos from other places like myself. And we all just packed into this house in West Seattle, and we ate meals together, and so in that way it was almost like a theatrical film experience, because you're really living and breathing with those people, and a sense of community develops that is sometimes hard to get on a film shoot, especially if it's a shorter film shoot. Those kind of relationships take longer to build, and I think when you're working in that environment, you take bigger risks, you try harder. I don't know, I think it really aided us in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Long lines for the shower in the morning. Fortunately, I was editing at that time, so I didn't have to wake up as early as everyone and wait for the shower. But yeah, it was an interesting experience.
I would just like to know, how did you get along with the house mom and cook?
Okay. Well, for those who don't know, Sally Smith is over there, and she was the house mom and cook, and we got along with her quite well, I think. She deserves a round of applause for must be hundreds of meals that were made. I don't know how many meals. It was day and night, breakfast, lunch, and dinner meals for several days.
Story of my life.
One more question, and all the way in the back.
It was a great group of actors. I was wondering what the casting process was like.
Yeah.
We had a wonderful casting director, Lindsay Westmuller, that got involved with the project very early, and her and Brett combed through tons of people, and they got this gentleman here in New York to put something on tape for the movie. And it must have been a month and a half or 2 months or 3 months of.
Yeah, it was a lot of the summer.
Yeah, it was a lot of the summer leading up to production was casting, and.
If you're anyone making an indie movie, you get a casting director. It's wonderful. Casting can feel daunting without somebody who's done it before and somebody who can just run you through the hundreds of people who are going to be interested. Do you want to talk about your audition date?
I don't really remember. I read the script. I put myself on tape for it, sent it out to wherever they were, and then Brett came into town, and we sat down and had coffee, and and he offered me the job right there. I think because he knew that I was interested and he wanted to, make the film. And then I think he had a little bit of a harder time casting the rest of the girls because he was doing it out in LA. And I just think it's a totally different beast out there. I don't know why he chose to come to New York and LA, but at any point that was my experience.
Can I ask one favor of this audience? Thank you so much for, not just watching the movie, but now one more favor. So Brett is in Israel currently, and I would really love to take a piece of video here. I'd love everybody in the theater who's just watched Never to, give me a second to get ready, to say hello to Brett in Israel. So if I could just, like on 3, everyone can say, hi Brett, and it'll be a really nice moment for him. All right, so is everybody ready?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. 1, 2, 3.
Hi, Brett. We love
Okay.
the movie.
Hi, Brett. Thank you, everybody. It's probably nothing to go back.